So when somebody asks you, how are you? What's your first response? What's the first thing that pops into your head to say? Just curious. Think about it a minute. A couple years ago, my kids and I were at a Starbucks in our local neighborhood, and I had run into a friend that I hadn't seen in a long time. And I was so excited to see her, and I was like, oh my gosh, how are you? What is new? What's going on? And she immediately got this look on her face and went, busy. Just so busy. Gosh, the kids, there's so much going on, baseball season and gymnastics. We're just busy, 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 busy. And I remember thinking at that exact moment, wow, okay, this is the same story I'm hearing from every single person that I run into, no matter where I go. And at that point, this must have been maybe 5 years ago. And at that point, it was something that I was really working on in my life, that when people were asking me how I was, instead of saying fine or I'm okay or busy, that I was saying something that was reflective of how I was, but was also impacting to be positive and be a light to other people. So I walked away from that and I got in the car, and immediately my kids, I hadn't said anything, and my kids were saying, why does everyone say busy when you ask them how they are? And it really impacted me because I really, well, at that point I felt like we all are walking around not even knowing how we are because we've embraced busy, and busy is the new fine, right? How are you? I'm fine. How are you? And we have turned to, oh, busy, 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 busy. Things are so busy. And I just want to challenge you. How are you? What are you saying when people ask you this? You know, we talk about overwhelm and being in a state of overwhelm and all the components of that and how to get out of it. And in my coaching, I know that people telling me they're overwhelmed comes up so much. But I think that there's this little thing that starts before that that's a bit more general, and that is that we are all busy. And I believe that somewhere in there we are wearing busy as a badge. We're wearing it as a merit badge to tell everyone that we are doing everything that we can possibly be doing, right? Our kids are involved in everything that we can possibly put them in, so that we are doing everything in our power as their parents to make sure they're being raised with every advantage and all the great things. And in our work world and our business lives, we're busy. Our plates are full. I can't take anything more. Like, these are the things that you hear people talk about. And it's in order to justify that we're doing enough. And so I want you to stop and think for a minute. Are you wearing busy as a badge, right? When my kids were little and my husband would come home, and we had 5 kids in 7 years. So at one point they were 2, 3, 5, 7, and 9. It was a chaotic household, and I was homeschooling 5 little people and running businesses and doing so many things. And I definitely was busy. My husband would come home from his crazy busy stuff at the office, and the house would be a wreck, right? There were Thomas the Train tracks running through 3 different rooms. There were baby dolls and baby strollers and sippy cups and all the things everywhere. Legos of all shapes and sizes for all different ages, and books. I was a book junkie, still am a book junkie, but not baby board books anymore. Anyway, books strewn about the house because that was how we were. It was 5 little people, and we were on the move all day. And it was funny because when my husband came home, when the house was a crazy disaster with toys everywhere and sippy cups and whatnot, I would very quickly tell him all the things that we had been up to that day, right? All the things we accomplished in school, and if we had gone to a park or a field trip or something, if we had a play date, come over, went somewhere, I was sure to tell him how busy I was. And usually it was to justify the chaos that was at our house. Not that he was asking for it, but my internal perspective was that I needed to justify the mess that we were in. And I want you to use that analogy a little bit in your own life. How are you using busy or overwhelm to justify chaos? Just a question.